Hi everyone! I hope you all are doing amazing. I missed you guys. I have been in Vegas and I was in Monterey and I took a break from filming and I will tell you guys why. So this video is a little bit different. It's not a reaction video. I am going to share with you guys what happened on my trip to Vegas, the infamous trip to Vegas. Okay. Here's the thing, you guys. My mentor, teacher, master healer, guru, friend, Marissa, channeled a message for me and she told me you need just to take a trip by yourself. Like, you need to be independent, just discover who you are, free from, what your parents think you are and what society tells you are and what you think you should be, and just go travel, not even trying to discover out who you are, but just go somewhere and just have fun and do what you want. So I went to Vegas, where she happens to live. Stalker much? I went to Vegas, which I've never driven to by myself, and it was so much fun. And I'm telling you guys, the second I hit Vegas, from California to Vegas, I immediately felt such a surge of energy. I literally felt so happy. The energy is just different there. I don't know how to explain it. Energy in California is icky. No offense, California. The energy in Vegas is just so much more clean and clear, just all of Nevada. Which is super ironic, because if you think of the strip of Vegas, that's party city. But we're gonna get into that. I'm so insecure in California. I'm constantly worried about how people are looking at me or if people are judging me in California. Why? I don't know. I'd like to figure it out. It's just a huge insecurity of mine, is thinking people are judging me. But for some reason in Vegas, that just totally disappeared. So without giving away all this information, basically there's someone that I've known for 4 years. This guy, for now, let's just call him Bob. Bob and I have been friends for 4 years. I love him to death. He's such an incredible person. He means so much to me. I kept having this feeling that something was up with Bob. My friend Marissa was having some things she wanted me to, help her look into, do a reading on her and get clarity, having to do with some members of her family. And I did a reading on her the night before I left for Vegas, and I kept seeing that there was this girl, and she actually, I need to start more from the beginning. Okay, let me start to the very beginning. So the week of my birthday, I am very sad. I'm very emotional. I was just having a really hard time, just, feeling bored and lost, just feeling like I've been a failure, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this life. If you are in your 20s, maybe you can relate. It's a very confusing time. So I was just feeling all the things of turning 25 and all that. I'm at this resort with my family for my birthday, which my dad so graciously planned for everyone. And I wake up at maybe 4 in the morning. I had a really bad dream. And I wake up at maybe 4 in the morning and I see this girl standing over the edge of my bed. I immediately shake and shudder, and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, was that a ghost? Here's the thing, you guys. I believe in ghosts. I believe in that stuff, but I haven't really seen a ghost with my physical eyeballs, literal eyeballs, in a really long time. I used to see ghosts when I was little. Hadn't really seen one like that. She was literally at the edge of my bed. I was like, wow, that is very scary. I didn't actually think anything of it until later that night. My friend Marissa asked me to kind of do a little bit of a healing on her and do a reading on her, because there's a couple people in her family that she just wanted some clarity about. They were having some just normal family issues. So I was like, yeah, I'll look into it. And then when I did her reading, I saw the same girl that I saw standing over the bed of the resort that I was in. And I was like, that is very interesting. And I saw that she was inside of this thing. I'm not gonna give a lot of detail because I don't want you guys to try to imagine it and fall into it. Basically, she was in this thing, let's just call it a thing, and I saw that on the outside of the thing was my friend's name written everywhere, like as if you were writing your name on the shower after you're done and it gets all foggy. I saw his name everywhere. And I was like, that is very weird. This isn't the first time that I've heard his name somewhere in meditation. So there's clearly some connection with my friend and my family and whatever's going on. We kind of put it past us. I go to Vegas the next morning. I arrive at maybe 5 or 6 p.m. Everything's great. My insecurities just fade away. patiently waiting for me back in California. The next morning, I wake up and I think to myself, you know what? I just feel great. I don't need to ground myself. I don't need to do my little clearing meditation. Like, I feel great. Red flag. Red flag. If you are like me and you have issues and you need to clear your emotions and ground yourself and like do your little like, you know, morning routine, and if for some reason, for no apparent reason, you decide, I don't really need to do that, like I'm good, that's a red flag. So for some reason, I just decided I wasn't gonna clear myself. I was just gonna go about my day like I was just perfect already and clean and clear, and like I was good to go. Like my emotions were solid. I felt great. I was like, I don't need to do anything. I end up spending the day with my friend and my friend's teenage daughter. And the whole day I am so persistent and insistent on like ruining everyone's plans. Not in a malicious way, not in like a evil way, but like for some reason I internally was so hyper focused on like doing what I wanted to do and making sure that like what I wanted to do like was like I was on a mission. And basically my mission was Marissa and her daughter and I were supposed to do class in the Las Vegas Strip because the energy is so cool there, and we were going to read the energy and do class from the Las Vegas Strip and maybe talk to a couple people and be like, hey, do you want a free reading? Do you want a free psychic reading? Like, what's up, you guys? Kind of thing. And just like be in that energy, because for some particular reason, there aren't really ghosts in the Strip of Las Vegas. And you think that there would be because there's drinking and there's drugs and there's partying and it's just like very dark energy. But for some reason, there aren't as many ghosts there than there are in California. It has everything to do with fear. Because people are in such fear in California, you attract dark energy, you attract entities, you attract ghosts and all that stuff. Because people in Vegas, Nevada, just like generally, because less people are in fear there, the energy is just better. If there's anything that opens up your field, that opens up your emotions to dark energy and like all that kind of stuff, it's fear. So we wanted to teach class from the Strip. I was on a mission to make sure that that didn't happen. I didn't know why, I just knew that couldn't happen. So I'm driving Anya's daughter and I'm just making wrong turn after wrong turn. I'm just messing up directions. For the life of me, I cannot get back to, you know, where we're supposed to be going. I end up just taking us back to Marissa's house, which she specifically told us to leave from. We had left her house and she was like, okay, I'm gonna meet you guys at the Strip. Don't come back here. I'll meet you at the Strip. I was so persistent that we had to get back to her house and mess everything up. So we show up at her house and she's in the middle of like, you know, going live, about to like talk about what we're gonna teach that day. And she sees us, me and her daughter, and she's like, what do you guys, you're not supposed to be here. Like, what are you guys doing here? And I'm literally like, I'm happy. I can't explain it to you guys, but I'm literally just like, my plan worked. Like, it was very icky now looking back. So messed up the plan. Mind you guys, I've done pretty much every single one of her classes that I have signed up for, I've done pretty much. Maybe with the exception of like 2. So as you can imagine, it is not like me to miss her class. We end up going to her office in a frenzy because now we can't make it to the Strip. So we go to her office. Everyone's disappointed because they're so excited to see class from the Las Vegas Strip, but I just had to ruin the plan. So we go to her office and I sit in the other room and I don't receive any of the healing. I don't pay attention to the class. I don't do anything, which is so unlike me. I'm just sitting there chilling, eating chips, acting like I'm the coolest person in the world, and like I can't be bothered to get a healing because I don't need it because I'm already in such a great mood. Okay, class is over. Fast forward to, you know, that night I stay, you know, by myself in the in this hotel by the Strip. I stay at the Aria hotel. I wake up that morning. I have this like weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, something doesn't feel right. Like something inside does not feel right to me. So I end up doing my little morning routine. I ground myself, I pray, I do my prayer to God, and I start to clear myself, and I immediately start to feel better. And then I just start driving through Las Vegas, like sightseeing, getting coffee, like putting on music, feeling like really happy and just like in such a better mood. I end up feeling like I just want to go check on Marissa and her daughter because they were supposed to meet me in the morning, but they didn't show up. And I was like, you know what, they're probably maybe just like spending time with each other, like mother-daughter time. So I'm gonna go be a stalker and infiltrate. But this time I actually felt more like myself. So I went over to their house and they were there chilling. Actually, it was just Marissa who was there. And I walk in the door and she's like, what are you doing here? I was like, I don't know. I felt like I just wanted to come over. Oh, no. I was like, can I use your bathroom? And she's like, you don't have a bathroom at the hotel? And I was like, I just wanted to follow you. So here I am. At least I'm honest about it. Anyways, so I get there and she's like, hey, like, I want to talk to you about something. Yesterday you had a ghost in you that was driving, like literally in your body, driving your car, and it completely sabotaged our entire day. Oh, and also you've had this like thing in you, like from 4 years ago, since you met that friend, Bob, who, you know, I saw like on the glass. And it's like that same girl that you saw like standing over the edge of your bed. Well, she's here and she's here to sabotage your trip and she's here to sabotage you. I was supposed to meet up with Bob like later that weekend. She didn't want me to meet up with Bob because spirits cannot. So basically the thing about ghosts, you guys, the thing about spirits is, first of all, they're real. If you don't believe in them, well, they're real. Basically, when your emotions drop very low, when you get into anger, fear, jealousy, sadness, like when you just get low, you leave a space open within you for something to come in because they see light, and the only reason they see your light is because you're low enough where you resonate at with them, and so they jump in. Because a spirit or a ghost, whatever you want to call them, like sometimes they're not crossed over, sometimes they don't even know that they've passed away, sometimes they're super angry about how they died, so they're doing anything in their power to use someone's light, aka someone's who's living right now, like a person, someone who's alive right now. They're using their body and their light to stay alive so that they don't have to, do what it is that they need to do. So that happened to me. So I got like taken over by a spirit ghost girl like the entire day, which is why I was so persistent on sabotaging the trip, because the thoughts and energies and emotions of the spirit was literally like going through my brain, like, can't do it at this trip, gotta go back to the office, gotta sabotage and do what I want, so that she could stay alive and be in my field. So after receiving that snippet of information, I was very upset and just kind of like, okay, something is clearly wrong with me. Like, I'm obviously not doing something right. Like, what is wrong? Like, I just got so like self-conscious and insecure. Like, I ruined your guys' trip. Something is wrong with me. Like, what do I do? Luckily, Marissa is like the best healer I know. And she basically removed this spirit from me and my friend, and from basically all of us, like later on. However, it wasn't so easy. And here is where the story kind of begins. So, after finding out this information, I'm like, oh my God, like everyone is like now wanting to get to the bottom of like how people are getting like spirits and ghosts around them. Like, how is this still happening? So the next morning I check into a new hotel, which, mind you, I booked like while the spirit girl was like in me, so I'm pretty sure she booked this to like sabotage everyone. Not blaming her, like all's forgiven, but booked this hotel like on a whim, just like totally frantic, booked it while the spirit girl was like still using me. And so I booked this hotel, which we found out later happened to be haunted. So we stay at this hotel. I'm not gonna say the name because like I don't want to get in trouble, whatever. Stayed at this hotel on the Strip. I check in early. Marissa and her 2 little kids are supposed to meet me there. I'm there for about 2 hours. I check into the hotel. I'm like, oh, this is a really nice hotel. I immediately sit down, do a meditation. I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling like this is the day we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Like, this is the day like we're gonna get to the bottom of why the spirit is here, like why is this trip being sabotaged? Because our intention of this trip was for Marissa and I to get a lot of work done and like bring the message out to the world of like intuition and like bringing light to the world and like don't let fear take over, like just let faith and like your intuition and all that like lead the way. So clearly when you have a big mission, there's always going to be a dark, there's always going to be the dark side, whatever you want to call it, like trying to sabotage you. You can just look at it as fear. Like think of all the times you've wanted to do something and you've talked yourself out of it due to fear, like same thing. So basically I check into this hotel. I don't really hear from them for like 2 hours. I'm like, she has 2 kids. They're very little. She's probably super busy with them. So I eventually hear from her. I go downstairs to meet up with her because she's gonna come back to my room and we're just gonna like hang out, do like a girls thing plus her son, and then like hang out. I go downstairs. She asks me to take up Madison. Oh, I shouldn't say her name. I can say her name. She asks me to take up her 5-year-old Madison up to the room so that she can deal with Buddy, her 2-year-old son, and just like situate him because he's like getting hyper. So she just wanted me to take up Madison first to get her like a bite to eat, and then she would meet me up there in like 10 minutes. So I get Madison some food. We go up to the hotel. Immediately, as I walk into the room, I get this pit in my stomach and I just feel this sense of like darkness. Like I feel almost like an impending doom. And I don't really know how to describe it other than just like, here we go. So I check into the room with Madison. Madison is a sweet girl. Let me tell you, this girl is sweet and she's smart and she has a lot of energy. She's 5 years old, but for some reason she was particularly more like frustrated and like anxious and like, I don't want to say angry, but like she was just a little bit off, I noticed. So we get to the room. She's just being a little bit hectic. She's trying to like boss me around and I'm like, she's just being like a typical 5-year-old. I end up telling her, no, she ends up telling me, and I didn't listen to her. Another red flag. She tells me, she says, I don't want to be up here. I want to go downstairs. I want to go downstairs and I want to go out and explore. Like she keeps wanting me to go downstairs. And I'm like, no, we have to wait for your mom. Your mom's coming. We have to wait for her. But inside I knew, I was like, your mom's not really coming for a while. But it was this weird thing. It was like, I wanted to leave, but like I felt stuck, like I couldn't. It was the weirdest thing. So I say, hey, Madison, let me go to the bathroom. And after I use the bathroom, then we can go and see where your mom is. We'll go downstairs and see what's going on. Okay, you guys, here's where it goes south. I go to the bathroom. I don't lock the door. Why? Because, I don't know, like, she's a little kid. Like, what if she freaking, like, jumps on the bed and, like, falls down? I'm like, I don't want to, like, have the... Like, the door wasn't open. I just didn't lock it. Like, the door is completely shut, but I just didn't lock it. So I'm going to the bathroom. Madison starts thrashing. She starts throwing herself against the wall. She's smashing into the door. She's just being all over the place. And I'm like, Madison, like, what are you doing? Like, calm down. You gotta relax. And I tell her, I'm like, we're not going downstairs if you continue to act this way. She thrashes against the door. All of a sudden, I get this feeling within me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be stuck in here. Maybe a second passes, maybe 10 seconds. I don't know. I felt like time like just got really messed up during those moments. Like 10 seconds felt like an hour. Like it was the weirdest thing. Like everything just kind of flashed before my eyes. I go up because I'm done using the bathroom. I get up to see what's going on with Madison. The door is locked, you guys. The door is locked. And it wasn't locked to begin with. The lock somehow got shoved in and I couldn't get out. I couldn't unlock myself from the bathroom. And mind you, there's no lock on the outside. So it's not like she could have locked me in. So somehow, magically, mystically, by some fate, I get locked inside the bathroom. Now, what could sabotage people more who are trying to get this message out to the world of, faith and trusting and believing and faith and your intuition? Like, what could sabotage that than me getting stuck in a bathroom with a 5-year-old who doesn't know how to spell, who doesn't know how to use my phone? So I'm stuck in the bathroom. Madison has like a full-fledged breakdown panic attack. She's basically in a state of frenzy and fear and panic for 45 minutes to an hour. There is literally nothing that I can do, and I mean nothing because my phone is in the other room. There's literally nothing that I can do other than to just surrender and pray and have faith in God and have faith in something out there that can keep me safe. And whether you believe in God or not, whether you're like, I only believe in science, like whatever you believe in, here's what I believe. I believe that at some point you get into a place where there's nothing that you can do other than surrender and trust God. And if you don't like the word God, then maybe like, I don't know, there's different words to say, but like for me, I use the word God, and I think of God as not a person, but just a force that just has your back always and can get you out of any situation. I kind of think of God as like electricity in a sense. Anyways, doesn't matter. So I'm in the bathroom and I have this moment and I'm like, literally there is nothing that I can do at all. If I freak out, if I panic, she's just gonna panic more. And there's just nothing that I can do. So I literally just stand in the bathroom and I do like tree pose, like yoga pose, and I just pray. I just prayed and I asked God, I was like, God, if you're listening, if you're out there, please help me get out of this bathroom and please keep us all safe as long as it's, you know, for everyone's highest and best good. And that was it. And I was like, you know what, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. It is what it is. I asked Madison to say a prayer as well. Mind you, she's hysterically crying. Like it's actually really sad, you guys. Like she was so traumatized, but I managed to get her to say a prayer and she asked God to keep us safe. So at this point, you know, I'm hoping that someone calls me so that she can answer the phone and so we can tell them what's going on. So basically I have her try to get into my phone. She's not able to get into my messages. So I ask her to go into my calls. She eventually gets into my calls, but she's not able to, you know, go to recent calls to where I can find her mom, to call her mom. She's not able to do that because she can't spell. So I ask her to use the hotel phone that's by the bed, but she's not able to read any of the words on there. So like I'm trying to spell them out for her, but she doesn't know all the letters. So at this point I'm like, what can you do? Like I'm trying to literally like instruct a 5-year-old on like how to get me out of here, like Mission Impossible, like CSI style. So anyways, by the grace of God, by fate, her mom Marissa calls. She calls 3 times. Every time I tell Madison, okay, pick up the phone, press the green button, like pick up the phone, and she doesn't know how to do it. Like I think she's in too much of like a panic state to do it. So by the 4th time, I'm like, okay, Madison, just press the green button. And she finally does, and it's her mom on FaceTime. And her mom goes like, where are you guys? Like, oh my God, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Like, we need to leave now. Your sister, she's talking to Madison, like Madison's sister, Marissa's other daughter. She goes, your daughter has been in a car accident and we need to go. I'm like, literally, you're in a car accident? I'm stuck in a bathroom? Like, could this day get like any worse? So Marissa ends up staying on FaceTime with Madison, and we end up having security come and maintenance and like an officer come let me out. Actually, there wasn't an officer, it was just security and I think a member of like the hotel staff and like maintenance let me out of the bathroom. They come up, Marissa comes like 30 seconds later. Marissa there, she immediately sees Madison, who's hysterically crying, traumatized. Like, could you imagine being 5 years old and you feel like there's nothing you can do and like you're just panicked because you can't get your friend out of a bathroom and like your mom is not there to take care of you? Like, you're panicked. Like, I'm 25. Like, I felt like I was gonna panic, but like, I was like, I can't let her see me like panic, otherwise it's just gonna make it worse. So basically, Marissa comes up with her 2-year-old son. Her 2-year-old son is literally holding her like 30-pound bag for her, running behind her. Madison like squeezes Madison, who's hysterically crying. She asks, so I'm let out. I'm just like sitting down, like trying to process everything that's just happened. She asks the maintenance guy. Marissa asks the maintenance guy, like, does this happen a lot? Has this ever happened? He goes, no, this is kind of like a freak accident. They leave, everyone leaves. We need like a moment to ourselves, like as a family. Well, like technically I'm not their family, but like I feel like I'm their family. So we try to lock the door from the outside and like see what happens. Like, it physically is not possible. Like, we kept slamming the door back and forth And like it wasn't like it wouldn't get locked. Like we tried a bunch of different ways, like not going back in, but we were like trying to figure out like, how is this possible? Like it doesn't make any sense because you can't lock it from the outside. And I left the door unlocked on the inside. And by the last time she slammed the door open, or by the last time she slammed against the door, like the door had cracked open a little bit. Like the door had cracked open, like it wasn't like shut, so the lock could get stuck in there, like it was open a little bit. So that's when I went up to see like, Madison, what's going on? And then it just would not open. It was the weirdest thing. So after that long string of events, I decide I am not staying in that hotel by myself. You cannot pay me enough money to stay in that hotel by myself. So Marissa graciously lets me stay at her house with her family and her husband while we try to get to the bottom of everything. Good news, her daughter, who was in a car accident, is totally safe and she's okay. It was just like a fender bender. She's fine. We get back to the house. Marissa's daughter, Marissa's teenage daughter who got into the car accident goes to bed. Marissa and I stay up late for some reason. Like we both just didn't really fall asleep. And so Marissa and I, without even kind of planning it, we just start doing a healing on my friend. My friend, let's call him Bob. We literally stayed up all night healing him and his family, and not only like him, but like his house and like his parents' house and just like the entire family, just like doing a healing on them. And her and I found out that the spirit that was trying to sabotage our entire trip came from his family and has basically been living in their family for about 4 years, messing up their life, their soul path, like making sure that they stay in anger and fear and that kind of thing. And when I met him 4 years ago on a plane, like when we met, because when I met him on a plane, I was very like anxious and nervous to talk to him, and I was just like trying to be cool, and like I had an ego about me, so that probably is how like she got into my field. But basically she had been messing things up for quite some time, so it was time for her to, you know, move on and cross over. But basically Marissa and I saw her like crossing over and, you know, going into the light, whatever you want to call it. Like we don't need to get into the detail of like everything, but basically it was a gnarly, crazy trip. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. And for me, I realized that, you know, I've been pretty lazy with putting myself out there and, you know, sharing this message of, you know, we live in a world where, whether you want to believe it or not, there's things outside of us. Like there's energy, there are things beyond just human physicality. Whether you want to call that heaven, whether you want to call that God, whether you want to call that whatever you want to call it, but there's stuff outside of us. So for me, it was just a wake-up call, like, wow, like I need to start getting my butt to work and putting myself out there, because this whole trip, I mean, it affected everyone. Like it traumatized her 5-year-old daughter. Not only did it traumatize her, but apparently, so I missed this part. So she messed up the whole trip. So basically, my friend was supposed to arrive in Vegas to come see us and hang out with us. And his flight was supposed to get in at 6:30. He decided not to go. Like he literally like had a full on like he literally the night before leaving, or he was supposed to leave, he was like, I just can't go. I can't do it. Something's keeping me here. Like literally like self-sabotage. Like he physically like just felt like he couldn't go. His flight was supposed to get in at 6:30. That night at 6:30, Marissa, which I found out later, Marissa had this horrible flash in her eyes of something happening to her husband at the same time that Anya gets into this, at the same time that her teenage daughter gets into this car crash, who at the same time at 6:30, Marissa has that thought, and her daughter driving with her dad has the same thought of something happening to her dad, Marissa's husband. So because her daughter had that like scary thought about something happening to her dad, she panicked and like reversed back and like hit a car. So literally like this spirit thing sabotaged the entire trip. Like, sabotage everything, sabotage everyone. Like, basically, the second I walked into that hotel room with Madison, like, we literally went into like some alternate reality, like where ghosts and like all this stuff like was taking over. Like, it was just gnarly. Anyways, we did a whole healing on his entire family. Ended up going super well. But it was just crazy, you guys. So I think like the message here is, if you take away anything from this, like at this point, you could be like, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. You're psycho. Like, shut up. Your opinions are your opinions, and I respect them if that's what you think. However, if you take away one thing from this video, just know, you know, everyone believes in emotions, right? We don't question emotions, but you can't see an emotion, but you know it's there because you feel it. Well, sometimes, you know, you just know that things are out there because you feel them. Like, you don't necessarily need to see certain things to know that they are real, like an emotion. So if you take away anything from this, just know that anger, fear, sadness, those negative emotions that you continue to push away, to ignore, whether you push them away or numb them with alcohol, with substances, with drugs, with partying, with just distracting yourself, with addictions, with video games, with, you know, just ways to distract yourself. The more you decide not to feel and process your emotions, and the more that you just shove them away and just be strong and tough and ignore them, like, those build up, those leave spaces open for entities to come in and use your light, like use you. And that's, you know, not fair to you. If you take away anything, just know that by being in fear and anger and rage, like, you are opening your emotions up to, you know, dark energies coming in. If anything, the good thing that came out of this experience was Marissa, I think, just has like a much deeper appreciation for her family. Like, she did before, obviously, she loves her kids, but I think now, like, she just has such more of a deeper appreciation for her kids and for her family. I had a huge wake-up call because I, for a long time, was like, oh, I'm so evolved and I'm so spiritual and just high vibe, and like nothing could ever affect me because I'm so high vibe. Well, clearly not the case. I have some work to do on myself. And also, just like with my friend, you know, like, that thing's been like living in their family, affecting their family, like, for the last 4 years. Like, that's a long time. I wanted to share that with you guys because this is like a very serious thing, you know, especially with like what's been going on in the world right now. Like, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about like, why do I have anxiety? Like, I've been having anxiety. Like, I did 2 healings on 2 specific friends who are both having gnarly anxiety. Think of anxiety as you are in an elevator that is crammed to the brim. Like, you're in like a can of sardines, just like crammed in an elevator full of people. You feel claustrophobic. You feel like you're freaking out. Like, that is what anxiety is. Anxiety is you are this field of energy. You are made up of these molecules spinning, vibrating at a certain frequency, and you have emotions. You are in this body, and when you have anxiety, it's because other people, literally other people's thoughts and emotions and beliefs, and sometimes a piece of them is physically in your body, and so you feel overwhelmed because you are surrounded by other people. Like, imagine if you were in an elevator, there's like 20 other people in your elevator, and that's why you get anxiety. Regardless, I had a great time in Vegas, and it just goes to show that, like, at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, if you have faith in something that will have your back, in something good, in something pure, in something that's not judgmental, like, if you have faith in God, if you have faith in, you know, that force that is just always going to be there for you, like, you will be okay. Because literally, I'm convinced that because of my prayer and because of Madison's prayer, like, somehow it all worked out and we were able to get out of there safely. Because, like, imagine if I was there with like her 2-year-old son. Like, what if he wandered off and like got lost, and I literally would have been stuck there? So, like, prayer is everything. If you guys have any questions, please leave those in the comments below. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate it so much. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah. Bye.